Hello everyone, welcome to the second PUC economics class. In this session, let us learn about the calculation of GDP through income method. The income method is another method among the three methods of calculation of GDP. That is, the first one is value added method, the second one is expenditure method, and the third one is income method. Here, the calculation of factor payments is considered because in a closed economy, there are two sectors, that is household sector and the producer sector or the firm sector. The household sector supplies the land, labor, capital and organization, and the firms pay the payments in the form of factor payments. The reward for land is rent, the reward for labor is wages, reward for the capital is interest, and reward for the organization or entrepreneurship is profit. So, all these together are considered, and after that the net exports are deducted, the net exports are added to it along with the difference between the total receipts minus total payments. So, you all know the Y is referred as income in economy, and therefore Y is income, R is rent, W is wages, I is interest, and P is profit. X minus M is total exports minus total imports, that is net exports, as well as R minus P is receipts minus payments. So, the factors of production play a very important role in the calculation of aggregate value of goods and services that are produced over a period of time, and these factors of productions have the rewards, and these rewards or remunerations are considered as the major income for the economy. So, here the income that is made in the form of factor payments are considered, and after that here we consider only the income that is generated out of the exports, because every economy wants to produce all types of goods that are required for the residents of a country. No country intends to have more imports, because more imports means more expenditure. Government wants to earn more income and not the expenditure, not to have more expenditure. So, therefore, every economy involves itself in the production activities and also the service generation activities, because if the income is more, then only the country can go progressively. If the income is more, then the GDP will also increase and the economical progress as well as development will also increase. So, therefore, if there are more amount of revenues that are generated out of different types of goods and services, more amount of income is also distributed among the households. So, the total receipts and payments, here the government again does not want to have more payments, because in the form of payments government has to incur lot of expenditure. Instead, if it earns more receipts out of the local generation, the government local production of goods and services, the government can avoid the expenditure of imports as well as other non-unforeseen expenditures, other expenditures also. Therefore, the income method derives the GDP. GDP is nothing but the gross domestic product, or gross is the total and domestic is the internal, product is the generation of goods and services. The total internal products that are generated through different types of production sector as well as the service sector are going to be added while measuring the national income. So, once again let us recall about the three different methods of calculating the GDP. The first one is value added method, second one is expenditure method, and the third one is income method. The first one is value added method, wherein the production of public sector is considered. The complete production of the goods and services through public sector is considered. After that, the net value added is taken into consideration. The net value added involves both the production of public sector goods as well as private sector also. So, the net value added of the economy is also considered. The next one is X minus M, that is the exports minus imports. As you all know, every economy intends to have more exports, and today the Prime Minister has called for Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is self-sustainable India. That is, India should have self-reliance and it should not go for buying the goods from other countries, because India has all kinds of resources that are easily available and they can indulge in the generation of services as well as production of goods. So, therefore, if India develops its own self-sustenance in all the area, then we can go for zero imports, because the imports involve lots of expenditures and these expenditures are a big burden to the economy. So, therefore, only today lots of skills are being learnt and taught to the residents of the country, and with the help of these skills the residents of the country can establish tiny industries or cottage industries or even the small scale industries with the assistance of the loans provided by the banks. So, therefore, if a country generates its own income in the form of self production, then it can avoid the expenditure that is incurred on buying the goods from other countries. The next one is receipts and payments. Government gets lots of income in the form of trade receipts, and it also has to bear lots of payments for trading activities. If the amount of receipts is more and the amount of payments are less, then the government is said to be in a progressive way. So, now let us see about the GDI, that is the GDI is gross domestic investment, that is the local investment made for infrastructural activities is also considered in the value added method. Therefore, value added method takes into consideration the total products generated by both private sector as well as the public sector, and also called as the output method as well as the product method. The second one is expenditure method, that you have learnt already in the previous session. It says that is Y is income in the case of economy, Y is C plus I plus G, that is consumption expenditure, investment expenditure as well as the government expenditure, plus net exports plus the difference between the receipts and payments. So, the consumption expenditure is the expenditure made on the consumption of goods and services, the investment expenditure is the investment made on the generation of goods and services, and the government expenditure. Government expenditure involves expenditure that it makes on both economic infrastructure as well as the social infrastructure. It constructs the road and it constructs the schools, dams, bridges, parks, etc. So, there are lots of free users, and these non-payable users of these government utilities or public utilities are called as the free riders. So, the free riders enjoy all the utilities that are being provided by the government, but they do not pay any amount of money directly. Therefore, these free riders who use the public utilities which are non-paid by them are to be borne by government only, and this is called as the government expenditure. The next one is income method. Under the income method, we learnt that the factor payments, the income generated through factor payments are taken into consideration, and here the income is obtained through the rent, wages, interest and the profit plus the exports minus imports, and also the difference between the exports minus imports and also the difference between receipts and payments. So therefore, with all these we have learnt that the GDP is a true barometer of the economical situation of a country. GDP is affected by different types of macroeconomic identities, and that we are going to learn in our next session. So the GDP is a true barometer along with some additions and subtractions in the economy. Therefore, the GDP is a true measure of national income, and this is going to help us to know about the aggregates, because under macroeconomics we study the economy as a whole. So in the case of microeconomics we were learning everything in individuals, but here we learn the aggregates like aggregate income level, aggregate pricing level, aggregate expenditure level, and also the aggregate employment level. So here all the factors are deployed in the production of goods and generation of services, and this is going to help the improvement of GDP in terms of increasing the income to the country. So therefore, every economy, which is whether it is the socialist economy or the capitalist economy or the mixed economy, follows these three methods to calculate the GDP. With this, I conclude this session. Thank you.